Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Forgotten Favorites. Here we are on the 30th. Is today the 30th? Yes, I believe it's the 30th of August. We're going to be running this show here for one more day. Every day, a different pick from my collection, my library of music. Picking out some obscurities, rarities, little talked about albums by bands you may or may not have heard of, albums you may or may not have heard of, or stuff maybe you haven't listened to in a while. I know for me, a lot of these I haven't listened to in a while, but I like them quite a bit, so it's been kind of cool to pull them out of the collection, give them a listen to after, kind of a bit of time, and talk about them here with you guys in hopes that maybe I'm turning you on to something you haven't heard before that you may want to go check out or maybe revisit again. So today we're going to take a look at a band from the UK that made their debut in 1972 on the Harvest EMI label, Capitol Records in the US. It was recorded June through September 1972 at EMI Studios in London. Like I said, released in November 1972. The debut album from Babe Ruth, First Base. And yes, that is Roger Dean artwork on the cover there. All right. Obviously kind of unmistakable, right? So this is an interesting band. So they only had about a handful of albums to their credit. And a very kind of hard band to classify, like musically speaking. They don't really sound like anybody else. They're listed as kind of art rock or prog, yet some of their music is considered hard rock. There's lots of jazz in their music as well. Like I said, this is their debut record. The lineup here, we've got Alan Shacklock on guitars, Hammond organ, percussion, and lead vocals. We've got Jenny Han, her real name is Janita, on lead vocals. Really great voice. Dave Hewitt on bass guitar, Dick Powell on drums, Dave Punchun on electric and acoustic piano and keyboards, Gasper Lawal on percussion, Brent Carter on sax, Harry Meir on oboe, Peter Haling on cello, Clive Antsy on cello, Manny Fox on cello, Boris Rickelman on cello, and Jeff Allen plays drums on one track. So that's kind of the whole personnel that make up this album. But the main folks in the band were Shacklock, Hahn, Hewitt, Powell, and Punchin, and Lawal, with all the horn and reed players kind of coming in. I mean the reed and string players coming in to kind of help out on the album. So we've got 6 tracks in total. It's about a 40-minute long album, or maybe just under. Long tracks for the most part. And again, the songs on the album kind of exemplify just what I said before. The band is hard to classify. They go from one thing to the next here. Starts off with Wells Fargo, written by Alan. Good hard up-tempo hard rock song. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun. Great riffs, great groove. Really good chorus. It was released as a single. Jenny's got a great voice. She's worked so well on this album. Probably my favorite song on the album, or number 2. Next up is The Runaways. Pretty lengthy track. I think it's clocking in just over 7 minutes. Most of these songs are 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes long. And The Runaways, really different. You got the hard rockin' up-tempo first song, and here, The Runaways is very atmospheric, very jazzy. It's mostly kind of like vocals and piano, little bits of reeds coming in here and there, some strings, but it's kind of like an atmospheric, slow, moody prog track, sort of, but definitely a lot of jazz going on in that song as well. Then you've got track number 3 is a reworking of Frank Zappa's classic King Kong. Tremendous. They do a great job on it. I mean, just really well done. You got the guitars and the keyboards and the sax and the oboe and the strings and all that kind of stuff. Just really, really well done. Very well done. Then you got track number 4, which is Black Dog, another kind of atmospheric, kind of jazzy piano vocal type of thing. Then the other instruments start to come into play about midway through during the song. Pretty cool. Then you got The Mexican, which was also released as a single. This song has been reworked and done, covered by many people over the years. It also became part of For a Few Dollars More. So Ennio Morricone actually went and kind of took that and put it into that film. Pretty neat. And, if you hear it, if you've never listened to this album and you hear it, go and listen to The Mexican. You'll recognize it. And then we've got track number 6, the last track on the album, which might be my favorite. It's either that or Wells Fargo, is Joker. another Alan Shacklock song. Big hard rock track. Really good guitar riffs. And again, it's kind of lengthy. It's near just under 8 minutes long. Got a lot of twists and turns, and it's kind of proggy too, kind of complex, but at its core, it's just a really good, muscular hard rock track. So, yeah, that's the album. I mean, basically, it's 6 tracks. All of them really good. You got 2 kind of like mellow, atmospheric, jazzy tracks. You got 2 big hard rock tracks. You got the reworking of King Kong, which is again prog jazz fusion, right? And then you got the Mexican, which is again kind of like a little bit of everything, right? But really catchy. So there you have it. Babe Ruth. Alan would leave the band after this. They would go through lots of lineup changes. You know, Bernie Marsden was in the band shortly thereafter. They released Omar Caballero in 1973, the year after. Then self-titled Babe Ruth in 75. Steelin' Home also in 75. Kid Stuff in 76. And then they basically broke up, but they did get together and put out an album called Que Pasa in 2009. I don't know exactly who was in the band at that time. But yeah, kind of a weird history. A lot of members and coming and going and all sorts of stuff, but pretty cool band. That's just hard to classify, but I notice a lot of people bring them up here on the channel, so they're definitely worth checking out. And this to me is probably their most interesting album, although the second album is pretty good as well. I mean, all their albums are worth a listen, but I have not heard the one from 2009, so pretty cool. Babe Ruth, First Base, is our forgotten favorite of the day. If you are a fan, you know it well, please put your feedback and comments on this album in the comments below. If you have never heard this, please go wherever you listen to your music, check it out, report back, let us know what you think. Hopefully some of you guys will dig this. Pretty good stuff. And, it's got the Roger Dean artwork. Gotta love that. If you are a fan of collecting all these albums that Roger's worked on, there's quite a few of them. So thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up, Hudson Valley Squares tonight. We've got a one lineup album wonder battle going on tonight on the Squares. A big discussion about Black Sabbath's Born Again and Rainbow's Down to Earth. Each one featured a lineup that only appeared on those albums. So we're going to talk about those albums. Do we like them? Don't we like them? Do we think those lineups could have lasted or not? And which albums we like better? So that's coming up tonight on the Hudson Valley Squares. We get in the Prog Seat tomorrow. Wednesday is What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility Day. Thursday, the Monsters Den. And Friday morning at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff. But of course, over the weekend, we've got album homework assignments. So lots happening here on the channel this week. Stay tuned. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content. If you'd like to make a channel donation, the link to our Ko-Fi page is below, as well as the link to our merch page. We have all sorts of cool new Sea of Tranquility shirts and hoodies and hats and coffee mugs and stickers and fun stuff. And of course, seaoftranquility.org. The link is below to our webzine that has now been on the internet for 20 years this year as we celebrate our 20th birthday. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Pete Pardo. See you tonight on the Squares. Bye-bye.